back home, back to God. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunda Vihare Jayo Radha Madhava Kunda Vihare Nana Malaba Iri Vadadhagute Mobi Jana Malaba Iri Vadadhagute Yasodananda Braja Jana Ranjana Yasodananda Braja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tera Vanachate Jamuna Tera Vanachate Jayarandho Madhova Kunda Vihagute Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Vihagute Mupinana Malabak Yedi Vadadhagute Mupinana Malaba Yedi Vadadhagute Yasodananda Braja Jana Ranjana Yasodananda Braja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tera Vanachade Yamuna Tera Vanachate Jayarandho Madhova Kunda Vihagute Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihagute Jai Om Vishnu Pad Paramahansa Paravidagacharya also Teta Satashi Shimad, His Divine Grace. Abhaya Charanana Bhaktivedanta Goswami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, ISKCON, founder Acharya, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Ananda Koti, Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Namacharya, Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai, Prem Se Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shidwaita Gadadha, Shivasati Gaur, Bhaktivedanta Ki Jai, Shri Shri Radhakrishna Gopi Gopinath Sayamakunda Radhakunda, Giri Govardhan Ki Jai, Vrindavanam Ki Jai, Mathuranam Ki Jai, Jagannatha Swami Ki Jai, Yamunamai Ki Jai, Srimati Tulasi Devi Ki Jai, Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Gaur Premananda Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravada Pachari Devasesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Dejatani. So we're reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 52nd chapter, text 5. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Bhagavan Puna Avraja Puring Yavana Vestitam Hotva Malacha Balang Ninye Tadiyam Dwarakam Dadam Bhagavan Punaravrajya Purim Yavana Vestitam Hatvam Lecha Balam Dinye Tadiyam Dwarakam Danam Bhagavan Punaravrajya Purim Yavana Vestitam Atvam Lacha Balham Dinye Tadiyam Dwarakam Danam Bhagavan Punaravrajya Purim Yavana Vestitam Atvam Lacha Balham Dinye Tadiyam Dwarakam Danam. Okay. Okay. Bhagavan, the Lord, Puna, once again, Avraja, returning, Purin, to his city, Yavana, by the Yavanas, Veshtitam, surrounded, Patva, killing, Mlacha, of barbarians, Balam, the army, Ninyay, he brought, Tradiam, there, Dwarakam, to Dwaraka, Dadam, wealth. Translation, the Lord returned to Mathura, which was still surrounded by Yavanas. Then he destroyed the army of barbarians and began taking their valuables to Dwarka. You can repeat. The Lord returned to Mathura, which was still surrounded by Yavanas. Then he destroyed the army of barbarians and began taking their valuables to Dwaraka. So, purport by the followers of His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. It is clear from this verse that Kalyavana alone pursued Lord Krishna into the mountain cave. When Krishna returned to the besieged city of Mathura, he eliminated the vast barbarian army. So, just, let's see, read Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary. Killing the enemy army, he began to take Ninyay, the booty, to Dwarka. Now, booty actually means something either that's stolen or the spoils of war. Generally, those are the meanings of booty. And Sanatana Goswami says, the Lord, endowed with all powers, Bhagavan Krishna, easily killed the army since they were without their leader, which is Kalyavana, and ordered their wealth be taken to Dwarka. So I'm going to just read 6 and 7 also, because all these verses are in regard to Kshatriya's nature. So, Niyamane dane gopir nirvish chachutakchodata ajakama jarasandas trayo vimshat yanikapa. As the wealth was being carried by oxen and men under Lord Krishna's direction, Jarasandha appeared at the head of 23 armies. So, Sanatana Goswami comments, men also carried the load. The word cha indicates that camels and other animals were also used. The reason is that the order of the Lord cannot be violated, achyuta. And finally, text 7. Vilokya vega rasa rabasam ripu sainyasya madhavau manusha cheshtitam apanau rajan tutruvatur drutam. O king, seeing the fierce waves of the enemy's army, the two Madhavas, imitating human behavior, ran swiftly away. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, seeing the great speed, Vega Rasa Bhasam of the enemy troops, Krishna and Balaram assumed the actions of human beings and quickly fled. And Jiva Goswami said, Krishna and Balaram, born in Madhu's dynasty to perform various activities, accepting the activities of humans, ran away. Krishna joined with Balaram, who previously he had kept within Mathura. And the Vishnu Purana says, and I'm not going to quote the Sanskrit here, this is the pastime of the Lord of the universe, who has qualities like human beings. He released unlimited weapons on his enemies. He causes creation and destruction of the universe. He is enthusiastic to destroy the enemies. He follows the dharmas of human beings, creating allies with weaker parties. He fights with the strong. He sometimes conciliates, and sometimes creates dissension. He sometimes punishes the enemy and sometimes he flees. In this way, he follows the actions of humans. The pastimes of the Lord of the universe take place by his will. So, Om Gana Timiranda Shah. Gananjana Shlakaya Chakshur Miritam. Yena Tuzmai Shigadaveda. The first thing I want to talk about is that Kshatriya's right to take away the booty. I think that's very important because Kshatriyas have different means of livelihood, taxation, and also taking away the booty. And it's interesting that it's not that the soldiers, the foot soldiers of that particular time, attacked the Yavanas. Well, they may have attacked the Yavanas, but it's not that they kept the booty. The booty was given to the king. And so this principle of taking the booty is mentioned many, many places in the Bhagavatam and in the Mahabharata. And I'm going to read some of the quotations about that. So in the third canto, first chapter, text 43 of the Bhagavatam, there's a purport here where Krishna is saying to Arjuna, I shall finish all those who assembled here except you, the Pandavas. The killing does not wait for you to take part in it. It is already arranged. All will be killed by me. If you want to become famous as the hero of the battlefield and thus enjoy the booty of war, that means, of course, being in charge, then Savya Sachi, just become the immediate cause of this killing and thus take the credit. And another quote about booty, keeping the booty, is the fourth canto, 10th chapter, texts 18 to 19. The great sage Maitreya continued, my dear Vidura, the heads of those who were cut to pieces by the arrows of Dhruva Maharaj were decorated very beautifully with earrings and turbans. The legs of their bodies were as beautiful as golden palm trees. Their arms were decorated with golden bracelets and armlets. And on their heads, they were valuable helmets bedecked with gold. All these ornaments lying on the battlefield were very attractive and could bewilder the mind of a hero. And Prabhupada comments, actually that's the verse in the purport. It appears in those days, soldiers used to go to the battlefield highly decorated with golden ornaments. So even these Yavana soldiers, they were decorated somehow or other, and with helmets and turbans. And when they were dead, the booty was taken away by the enemy party. Their falling dead in battle with their many golden ornamental dresses was certainly a lucrative opportunity for the heroes on the battlefields. And that reminds me of when Arjuna fought with the Kauravas alone. This is an interesting story. That when Arjuna was residing in the palace of Virat, and he was actually residing as a eunuch known as Rihanala, because he had been cursed to remain a eunuch for 1 year, or to be a eunuch for 1 year. That's because he had offended Urvasi. I guess I should tell that story too. So he offended Urvasi because he was in the heavenly planets trying to achieve weapons. And Urvasi became attracted to him because even though he was a human being, and generally the Apsaras don't consort with human beings except in exceptional cases, she was attracted to him. And she came up to Arjuna and said, whatever she said, hi there. And she exhibited symptoms of lust. And Arjuna just replied to her, he said, you're just a mother, Mataji. Actually, it's interesting. Like some devotees in ISKCON, they refer to all the ladies as Matajis. And Prabhupada actually said, it's interesting, Prabhupada said we should see every lady as Mataji, as a mother. Not necessarily we have to say that every lady is a Mataji, or address every lady like that. So, anyway, so she got so upset she cursed him to become a eunuch, and that curse was later mitigated by Indra to just be for 1 year when they were in the palace of Virat. So what happened is that the Kauravas, because the Pandavas were in hiding, and had they been discovered, Ajatvas, had they been discovered by the Kauravas, they would have to go into exile for another 13 years. So the year was over, and Arjuna was finally able, and I can tell the whole story because it's not really applicable. So Arjuna was finally able to defeat the Kauravas who were attacking the kingdom of Virat because they were trying to discover the Pandavas there before their year of exile was over. And Arjuna was able to defeat all the Kauravas, and it's a description in the Mahabharata that he was able to put them all to sleep with a particular weapon, a sleeping weapon. And because of that, he was able to take all their ornaments and jewels from their bodies. And when they woke up, they discovered all these ornaments and jewels gone. So, excuse me. So it is authorized for Kshatriyas to take the ornaments and jewels. So another quote here is from the Krishna book. Sorry. Jarasandha, who had many times experienced defeat by Krishna, roared, "How is this? Krishna is taking Rukmini away from us without opposition. What is the use of our being chivalrous fighters with arrows? My dear princes, just look. We are losing our reputation. He's just like a jackal taking booty from a lion." So sometimes the ladies were considered booty too. Would any of you ladies like to be considered booty? However, you have that story of grandfather Bhishma, who kidnapped Amba, Ambalika, and Ambika, and they were considered the booty to be given to his brother, Vitravirya. Excuse me. And, of course, Amba, she had the right to say no. So even if the ladies were booty in certain circumstances, they also had the right to say no. They weren't just like in the modern day and age, you know, there's rape and so many things going on. And then there's the story of Krishna kidnapping Rukmini and taking her as the booty. I have actually seen that you kidnap me, Rukmini, forcibly in the presence of all these princes at the time of the marriage ceremony, simply by giving a jerk to the string of your bow. You very easily drove away the others and kindly gave me shelter at your lotus feet. I still remember how vividly how you kidnapped me in the same way that a lion forcibly takes away its share of hunted booty, driving away all the small animals with the twinkling of an eye. That's from Krishna book. And then there's the other story, another story, so many stories about Krishna taking booty. Krishna, when Krishna defeated his own son and killed him, Bhaumasura, and he took the booty of 16,100 girls as his booty. And then you have the story of Arjuna, who kidnapped Subhadra. So this is the Kshatriya nature. This is what we're going to talk about today. And even the demigods, they would act like this too. There's a story, quote, in the 7th canto, 7th chapter, text 6. The victorious demigods plundered the palace of Hiranyakashipu, the king of the demons, and destroyed everything within. Then Indra, king of heaven, arrested my mother. So in other words, they took all the booty, plundered the palace of Hiranyakashipu. And then another story of, this is such a wonderful story. When Krishna killed Shankachyuta, he took the jewel from his head. That was the booty. And that jewel later on became the Shamantaka jewel. So, okay, that was the first point. Second point I found more interesting, the last verse we read, was that Krishna ran away from the battlefield. And of course, in the commentary it says that Krishna acted as an ordinary person. In doing that, and we find in the Lord's pastimes, many cases, the Lord acts like an ordinary person when he takes a form, when he manifests himself on this earth planet. And I was thinking about Lord Ram's pastimes. When Sita was kidnapped and Ram was lamenting, and there's a description in the Ramayana when he sees a beautiful forest and it's springtime, he actually starts crying, feeling separation from Sita Devi. So you have these ordinary emotions being manifested. But even more interesting with this pastime of Krishna running away was not so much that Krishna was acting like an ordinary person, but Krishna was renouncing the pride of a Kshatriya. When Krishna runs away from the battlefield like this, in apparent fear of Jarasandha, which he wasn't afraid of, but in apparent fear of Jarasandha, he's actually doing something that a Kshatriya would never think of doing. Because as we find in the Bhagavad Gita, for one who has been, this is in reference to Kshatriyas, for one who's been honored, dishonor is worse than death. So Kshatriya's honor is so important. A Kshatriya never runs away from a battle. And Prabhupada gave the example of that. One Kshatriya who went out to fight his enemy, and he ran away from the battle, came back not having won, and his wife wouldn't let him back into the castle. He knocked on the door or something, or asked for the drawbridge to be put down over the moat, and his wife said, "You're not my husband. My husband would never come back unless he was, dead, I guess, or having defeated the enemy. So you could not be my husband, so we're not going to let you in." So basically, he went out and defeated the enemy at that particular point, and then came back, and his wife gladly accepted him. So in the Bhagavad Gita, in reference to this, in 2nd chapter, text 34, it says, people will always speak of your infamy. That's when Arjuna is thinking of renouncing the battle. And for one who has been honored, dishonor is worse than death. So we find in Arjuna's case that Arjuna definitely showed the pride of a Kshatriya. There's that story that Arjuna was so proud of his being a Kshatriya that he made a vow that if anyone even criticized his bow, Gandiva, he would kill that person. I mean, that's extreme pride. It's like nowadays in America, if someone has a gun and they say, "If you criticize my gun, I'm going to kill you." So Arjuna made that vow, and he was so intent on fulfilling that vow that later on, during the battlefield of Kurukshetra, when Yudhishthira criticized the Gandiva bow, because Arjuna had left the battlefield to see how Yudhishthira was doing, because Yudhishthira had been injured, and Arjuna was concerned with Yudhishthira's injury. And so Arjuna goes to see how Yudhishthira is doing, and Yudhishthira gets very upset with Arjuna, criticizing him for having left the battlefield. He says, "What is the use of your Gandiva bow?" And Arjuna, because he feels so proud, that attachment to the Gandiva bow and attachment to his being a Kshatriya, he had taken this vow to kill whoever criticized his bow. He gets ready to kill Yudhishthira. And of course, Krishna is there at the same time, and Krishna says, "That's not a good idea. You shouldn't kill Yudhishthira. Here's a different way of killing him without killing him, and that is to address him with the familiar you." In Sanskrit, as well as in Hindi, as well as in Latin languages, you have a formal you and a familiar you. For example, in Spanish, it's usted. Usted is formal you, and tu, which is similar, I guess, to Hindi, like tomb or something like that, which is the familiar you. And you would never, at least traditionally, approach a superior and just say tu. You would say usted, just like go to South America and my disciples use the term usted when they're referring to me. If they said tu, it would be a big maha aparada. So in the same way, Arjuna went to Yudhisthira and addressed him with the familiar tu, and that was like killing Yudhisthira. So Arjuna felt so guilty after doing that he decided to commit suicide. And Krishna said, that's not a good idea either. We need you in the battle of Kurukshetra, etc. So Krishna said, instead of committing suicide, just praise yourself. So if you praise yourself, that's like committing suicide on the great Arjuna. So anyway, so there's this really pride the Kshatriyas have. For example, if they're challenged to a battle, they must fight. If they're challenged to a gambling match, they must gamble. I mean, these are the rules. Or even if a worthy lady comes to them, and can't be just an unworthy lady, and says, hi, I'm in love, and she's not married, and she's worthy, then the Kshatriya has to accept. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? And of course, we do not want that sort of Kshatriyas nowadays. So this is how strong the vow is. So, so the point is that Krishna is a Kshatriya. I mean, obviously he grew up in Vrindavan, where he was raised as a Vaishya, but he's of a Kshatriya family. His father and mother are Kshatriyas. And so for him to run away from a battle exhibits his extreme opulence of renunciation. Just like we understand Krishna has 6 opulences, and one of them is renunciation. So therefore, Krishna is worshipped in this particular form as Ranchor. I think it's where is that? The Korji or something like that, where they have the Ranchor temple. And so many devotees in Gujarat, they worship Krishna as Ranchorji, the person who ran away from the battle. But actually, Krishna wasn't afraid, but he would renounce his reputation by doing this. So anyway, so these are some of the points I want to make. Anybody have any questions? Yes, Mother Ramila. You want me to read text 8? Okay. Text 8. Vihaya vitam prachuram abhitau viru vitavat padyam palasabyam shelaturbahu yojanam, abandoning the abundant riches fearless but feigning fear. They went many yojanas on their lotus feet. Yeah. Yeah, that. Double renunciation. Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. Booty. Yeah, it's extreme renunciation. So let me read the commentaries from this verse we just read. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur said, how they acted as human beings is described in this verse, assuming the activities and qualities of human beings, manusha, cheshtam, apanao, however, is not their real nature. This is not the real reason for their fleeing, however, because even though they many times assume the human role, in those cases they have shown their omniscience and omnipotence. It cannot be explained as some immature display out of prema, because there were no devotees present there. Nor can it be explained as in imitation of fear, because as Uddhava said, even the intelligent are disturbed, thinking you flee out of fear. In the same verse, however, Uddhava states that being the protector of Dwarka, he fled in great fear. By examining this statement, one will understand the reason for fleeing. Though without fear, Abhitau, Krishna and Balaram decided to show fear, acting like fearful persons. Viru Vitovat. This expresses a contradiction. And Jiva Goswami also talks about the riches here. Without attachment, they gave up the great wealth, since this would slow down the enemy who was greedy for that great wealth. Or the two were completely without fear, prachuram. But just as a person in great fear flees, they fled as if in fear, using their tender feet. This indicates pain on the part of the speaker. Very interesting. So any other questions or comments? Yeah. Yeah, they would collect the wealth. Yeah, they would slow down. So in this way, Krishna showed his opulence of renunciation. Yes? Krishna was, yeah, I know that. Krishna was responding to Rukmini's letter to save her. I don't understand the point. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. No, I understand right now. He wanted to finish with his whole interaction right now because he wanted to kidnap Rukmini. Yeah. Yeah, and send the letter. But Krishna knew anyway, being omniscient. Yeah. The same type of behavior. Yeah, I remember that. I remember I had some godbrothers who were thinking like that too. Who were thinking they could have many wives. And any woman that comes, you have to accept her. Shh. It's not applicable in Kali Yuga. No. And we don't gamble. So, any other questions? Yes, Sadhu. Would we say he's a Kshatriya? Yeah. That's right. No, but would we say that Prahlad Maharaj was a Kshatriya? He was from it's a demon king. I mean, but Yudhishthira was also, yeah, Tulsi made the point, he was also a Jata Kshatriya. Yeah. Yeah, Rajarshis were like that. Okay. Well, he may have had a Kshatriya nature, but he wasn't born in a Kshatriya family. Pure devotee steps down to Majjhimadikari. Yeah. What is that? How is that related? Out of service, you can take on certain characteristics. Yeah. When you have a particular service, just like it, when Prabhupada was actually the best of the Brahmanas because he was managing ISKCON, he had to manifest certain Kshatriya aspects. Especially when he was preaching Krishna consciousness, he had to start calling people demons sometimes. That's like a friends and enemies. Whereas, so that's the point. For someone who's preaching, you have to make distinction, even if you're an Uttama Adhikari. So, any other questions or comments? Yeah. Why do we say? Well, it should be in plural, any pure devotee. But for our own guidance in Krishna consciousness, we take shelter of a specific pure devotee, or Siksha Guru, specific Siksha Gurus. It's not that you can just go around and ask for second opinions and third opinions and fourth opinions, and finally you'll find a great devotee who'll give you an opinion that's consistent with what you want to do. You shouldn't be shopping for opinion. So generally, we have one primary source of shiksha. Like with myself, it's His Divine Grace to the Prabhupada. So it's not that I will go to some other pure devotee outside of Prabhupada and say, well, he has a different opinion and that sounds better to me, so I'm going to go with that opinion rather than Prabhupada. So generally we say a pure devotee. Okay, time to end. All glorious to His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada, Ki Jai.
Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Enam Kanvandam Maravindadalayataksham Varhavatam Samasitam Buddhasundarangam Kandar Agom Vikamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Angani Yasa Sakalen Kriya Priti Manti Vasyanti Panti Kayanti Giram Naganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami
Namahum Vishnu Pataya Krishna Prastaya Mutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Sammenitina Mene Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauramani Pacha Neke Nivesesha Shunyavane Matsachangade Satarane Nivesesha Shunyavane Matsachangade Satarane Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shidwaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaurabhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shidwaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaurabhakta Vrinda Nityananda Shidwaita Gurada Siva Sade Noraturinda Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shidwaita Gurada Siva Sade Gauraturinda Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hari Rama Rama Ram Hachi Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Goloka nana rana, Goloka nana ragate. Nayarat, Goloka nana rana, Goloka nana ragate. Nayarat, hey, Nayarat. Hey, Radhe, Radhe, Nayarathe, Nayarathe, Radhe, Nayarathe, Jaya Radhe. Jaya Sri Radhe, Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Paracharya. Srila Prabhupada, ISKCON founder. Stop. Friends, say, Kaho Shri Krishna. Say, Shrimati Tulasi Devi Gajai, Samveda Bhakta Vrinda Gajai, Gaur Premananda Hari Haribo. All glory is the assembled devotees. All glory is the assembled devotees. All glory is to Sri Guru Gauranga, Shri Chaito Darpanamarjanam Baba Mahadvagni Nivapanam Shreya Kairavi Chandrika Vitaranam Viju Vadu Jivanam Anandam Buddhi Bardhanam Pratipadam Purnamritaspadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Nam Nam Akari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktish Tatrapitani Matasmarane Nakala Etadrashita Bakripa Bhagavan Mamapi Durdaivrami Drishanihan Aninanuraga Trinadapi Sunichena Dharohiva Sahishruna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahare Nadanam Najanam Nasundarim Kavitam va jagadishikamaye mama janmani janmanishvare bhavatat bhakti arhaitakitvaye ainanda tenajakinkaram patitam mam vishme bhavam buddho kripaya tava pada pankaja stita duli satrasam vachintaya nayanam galudashrudaraya vadanam gadgada rudya gira Pulaka Nichatamba Bukada Tavanama Grahane Bhavishyati Jugayitam nimishena chakshusha pravishayitam shunyayitam jagat sarvam Govinda vidahena me Asleshivapada Vanashtumam Adarshanam Marmatam Karotuva Yata Tatava Vadadatu Lampato Mat Prananatis Dusevanaya Purha. Victory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life, repeated birth and death. That Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. O my Lord, congregational chanting of your holy name alone can render all benediction to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you have invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names, but I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respects to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service, birth after birth. O son of Maharaj Nanda Krishna, I am your eternal servitor, yet somehow or other I have fallen to the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. O my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up? And when will the hairs of my body stand on end at the recitation of your name? O Govinda, feeling your separation, I am considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I am feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he shall remain so